We'll be getting some onto the wallpaper, but you have to make sure you move it right away once you're... Heidi is going, wrapping around the corner, although we're not gluing.
I can't reach any further with this.
This...
There we go,
there.
that's accurate now.
Yeah, okay, good.
Just to explain the reason this is buckling a lot here is because there's a toilet in the way.
Yeah, it might have something to do with it. The most important is to get this corner.
So our priority is matching this left seam first.
Yes, exactly.
I think we're recording again. So do you want to recap that? Because we lost some information.
So what I did is I'm just lining up on the left-hand side. Drew our line there, and we're now bringing it to the line. We did that by, we wanted to have an overlap. You must have an overlap here in the corner, all right? You do not put that overlap under yet. This is another process that you have to do. So I've got this lined up. I have it lined up at the top where I made that cut, right there. And I'll be right back.
Okay, so Yo's gonna cut the top edge off at the ceiling.
Always keep a sharp blade. Okay, now comes the fun part. We are going to put, that's only the first step of this process. You're gonna do this all the way down. If you've ever seen this done, mostly it's been done wrong. When people put lots of glue in behind now, and then they put it on top, and then you see the overlap. So I hate that. So I do it differently. The bubbles, there we go. Now I'm gonna go like this. This has a thickness, about a 1 millimeter thickness, or less than 1/8 of an inch, probably 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to use this as my guide this time. So I'm going to go along here, from top to bottom, in there. And what it's going to do, it's going to give me about a 1/16 inch, 1/16 of an inch lap. Whoops. See that? This is the ticket here. Now when I put this on, and there's no big underlap that you can see through. And that's the amazing part of this method. Get rid of your glue. In fact, if you need to, add more glue in that corner. Take a look at that corner. Notice how the tree lines up. It's close. It's not perfect, because it never will be, because you're removing material. But it is a nice seam, and there's no huge thing showing underneath that makes it really ugly and look like a home job. So Heidi will show you how the rest of it's done. It's awkward, especially when
you're doing it backwards. It feels very backwards.
There you go. Think she should take her shoes off when she goes in?
Okay, going up. Yeah. And we have no glue on the right wall, except at the top to kind of pull it off.
Exactly correct. Taking the glue off as we go. Make sure our match is 100%. Get the match right away. Let's come up here. Can you see me? No, you can't see me. Show it up there.
Well, let's see. Okay.
All right. I'm going to cut it up here. First of all, in the inside corner, so I can actually make it tight. Got to kind of fold it till you get your spot in the corner. Make sure. Now, because we're working over a toilet, this is make sure that you get this nice and tight in the corner. You can make your cuts. All right. Then what I do here, in order to know how high to bring the piece on the right, I will make a cut across the top, just a little ways across here, so I have my starting point. 2-3 centimeters, inch and a half, something like that. That's all we need. Then I'm going to take this, crease my corner. I'm going to start my cut from the top. Heidi just snapped the blade, so I've got a sharp blade. And I'm going to follow it because of the fold over. So I lead with the front edge of the putty knife, and I keep this flat to here. Now don't lift my blade. All very important parts of this after there, so we know where we stop. And that goes all the way down.
Okay, so you stopped here.
Yeah, but I didn't fold it. Not have
The
a
bottom
preset.
needs to, before we cut all the way, the bottom needs to have a snip of the corner, because otherwise there's wrinkles. And It's not gonna be accurate. Oh, we were up here, right?
So she's going to continue on with that cut. Nice and tight there. Using the putty knife to push into the inside corner.
Okay, there's a toilet in my way. This is getting tricky.
Getting tricky. Now she's going to cut it up from the bottom. Okay.
I think
now
we
that
got
will
it.
come off. Now here comes so what I did here is I put more glue underneath here and put this back. This now goes on top. So this goes underneath. This one goes underneath. And see how it looks pretty close, but it's actually around the corner. So I glued it, and Heidi's just putting it down, as am I. And then we'll set this on top. No vinyl to vinyl needed, but you can use it if you want to. It's not a requirement because it's so small, it actually doesn't lift. At least so far, hasn't lifted yet. I can't even show you because I'm not watching what I'm doing.
I think the trickiest part will be cutting the bottom
In behind the toilet.
behind the toilet.
That's why we have Heidi with the small hands. Yes, thank you, Heidi. All right, now this is already level, and so our next piece just continues right after the side of that, and that's how you do it. And if you have to move anything, it'll always be the small piece that's a little bit wavy, if anything, not the big piece when you do it. So because it's a small piece, it tends to wave a little bit, and if you have it going down a little bit like that, tiny bit, just move it. It's easy enough to move. And this is the toughest part of wall covering. So I'm going to...
All right, so is this, do you want to explain your strategy and do we want...
I am
here we
doing
are.
this.
I'm getting out of the way.
In this case, we're going to have to... So in the end, this ends up being your seam. Close up here again of what it should look like. Where the pattern carries around, and it has a minimum amount of loss. And you don't have a bubble. It doesn't bubble out, which that's what happens when you don't do it this way. It bubbles, and it doesn't have an underlap that shows like crazy and looks horrible. Looks like a home job. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to remove the wall covering on the right side. I'm going to take it off, and we're going to glue that area. So we're going to mark how far over to glue, plus an inch or so. And
Maybe all the way up or down.
all the way up or down, that's fine. And so we always got to go past.
Something like that.
Yeah. Now we're going to take the paper down and we're going to redo it. So this is what you're left with. Once it's cut, it's nice and sharp into the corner. All right, and that gets put over top of the next layer of wallpaper. We're going to bring that other one around the corner. All righty, so now we've got it glued. We got paste on the walls. I'm going to do the fancy move. This. So now we're about to put our next piece on, and this might be a bit hard to see, so I